Hello and welcome to Nerds and Stuff. My name is Martin, and before we get back to our Urban Shadows campaign, Friends Like These, I'm going to have my players introduce themselves. Sterling!
Hi, I'm Sterling, and I'm playing Calvin Miles the Wizard.
Hello.
Daniel!
I'm Daniel.
Snipe!
And I'm playing Oliver Silver, our vampire.
No sniping me? Okay.
Junior!
Oh, damn it. I'm Junior. I'm playing Jake Gordon, our Tainted.
Perfect. Every time you say tainted, I just get this slight cringe of dirtiness. Last we saw two of the, I don't know if we can call them heroes. No, we definitely can't. Last time we saw two of the main characters, the stars. People in this campaign. No, so last we saw, we were at the diner, Pete's Diner. It's kind of a hole-in-the-wall diner. Jake and Calvin were meeting together. No, Jake was hanging out with Susan, which is your aunt, who works there.
Yes.
And Calvin came in looking for Susan to talk about tonight's meetup between the werewolves and the vampires. And you guys got to talking. There was kind of like this weird NPC triangle going on. And then the plot thickened with Vincennes Marcellus entering and slapping down some mean innuendo.
And Calvin's a dick.
Calvin's mean. He's mean to all my NPCs. We'll pick it right back up at the diner. It's probably like a good 10 minutes later. Vincennes has left. Calvin, are you still there, or are you taking off? And I guess you do have a little bit of stuff to pick up with Jake, right? For tonight, at least the details for tonight. Okay.
Right.
All right. So we'll go ahead and start back up. So Vincennes Marcellus leaves the diner, leaving you guys kind of hanging out next to each other. It's still fairly middle of the evening. Susan's about to get off work. She comes over, and right after Vincennes leaves, she goes, "I hope he becomes mayor. He is so handsome."
Sure, whatever you say, Aunt.
She kind of blushes a little bit. She goes, "Do you need anything else, or?"
No, I just...
She sees the money on the countertop. "Jake, where did you... What? You put this away?"
Oh, I'm trying to grab it.
She kind of looks around. "Don't flaunt that kind of money around here."
I'm sorry. As you see, I'm out of it a little bit today. But I do need to talk to you.
Did Vincennes just give you that?
It appears so, yes. It's just a little something to help me, I guess, get off my feet here and get into better...
He is such a nice man. Do you know him, Calvin?
Who? Mr. Marcellus?
Yeah.
Not on a personal level.
Well, you should get to know him. He seems very nice.
Really? Because I just met him and he seems like a prick.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go. Do you need anything before I go?
No, I do need to talk to you later when you have a minute.
Oh, yeah, of course. I get off in like 15 minutes, so just catch me before I go.
Okay, perfect.
Alright, so I'm gonna leave you two.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start drinking my coffee.
So, Jake, we can count on you for backup at the meetup tonight, right?
What? I'm sorry. As you know, I've been out of it for a little bit.
Morning, how can I help you?
The vampire, werewolf,
of course.
wizard shindig that's going down.
That's tonight. Calvin, I haven't been around. I need to go check in with Sarah, see how Anna's doing. I have so much I have to do.
Yeah, no, of course. Your personal life is much more important than the fate of the city.
Damn you.
Calvin is a dick. There's been a lot of fans complimenting Sterling on his role-playing lately, and now they're all going to be, "Sterling's a meanie."
I'm tired as hell, though.
Give him pulse.
I'm gonna slam my cup down. Damn it, Calvin. I've been through a lot. I need a minute.
Should I start counting then, or?
It really
He
is.
does this with me too.
I know.
It's a real
I'm an
bully.
asshole.
He's a bully in this campaign.
Look,
I don't want to let it out because I
Jake,
don't know what'll happen.
all I'm saying is you're working with Vincent, and Vincent has a personal role in this. Isn't that what he wants you to do, is be there?
Yes. I just, like I said, I just need. Let me catch my breath. Let me figure out what happened. I just need a minute, friend, please.
Alright, I'm gonna just go step outside and make a phone call real quick.
Great, go.
You watch him and he like pulls out his cigarette. He lights it immediately. Like he's like stomping back and forth, just swearing under his breath to himself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Susan comes back and she goes, so she
How do you know him?
to Calvin
To Susan, yeah. I'm gonna say Susan. How do you know Calvin? You guys are dating?
No. It's complicated. He is a friend of mine. As you remember, I introduced the two of you together some time ago. Listen, I know him through the church outreach program.
That's fine. I trust you. I trust
That was
you.
easy.
I trust you. You won't. I just don't know. I think I messed up.
He's too tired to give a shit.
I don't know what to
You
do.
don't go to church.
I know Calvin's
I'll
not
come back
allowed
to
in
it
church.
later.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what to do. I've been. The last thing I remember was Monday.
You were at the bar, right?
Yes, we were at Pints.
Something happened there. Something terrible happened there. And the bar was almost destroyed. There was several injured.
Yeah, I remember there was a fight that broke out, and my friends were being attacked, and that's the last thing I remember. And now I woke up this morning, and I don't know what to do, hon. I haven't talked to Sarah. I don't know. She's gonna be so mad.
She is incredibly worried. As is Anna.
I hate lying to her. I hate doing this.
Listen, I wasn't even sure I was gonna mention this or ask you about it, but there's been reports on the news about people missing or people attacked in brutal fashion, especially in Heritage Park.
What?
I'm not saying it was you. I'm not implying that it was you, but if you're as foggy as you say you are, it's just something to be aware of. I know that you paid a terrible price for Anna's safety, for Anna's life. But every time you turn into that monster, terrible things happen.
Then I'm kind of like, I'm gonna lean back right and have a flash of looking down at my hands, when I was first woke up and blood and everything. And then I'm just gonna start crying.
And she kind of like walks around the counter and comes over and just is holding you. And Calvin looks through the window and sees like Jake crying and Susan holding him.
He pulls out another cigarette and lights it up.
He's like, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. So I think
that's
this scene?
probably a good
Okay.
scene there.
All right. So does anyone else want to accomplish anything before the meetup, or are we pretty good? Susan will get a hold of you. She lets you know the time and the location. Mm-hmm. It's going to be about 11:30 tonight. We're going to have it at a construction site kind of south of town. It's a little bit sketchier part of town, really far away from the werewolves' territory. But that also makes it fairly far away from the vampires' territory, because the vampires are both in the north as well as that sect of werewolves. Mm-hmm. But you run into a lot more bizarre things the further south you head.
So, just for some reason, I need to say this. There's like a scene in my mind of when Susan calls Calvin.
Okay.
Let it go. Or let him know like where the meetup will be. And Jake's like right there, and Calvin like hangs up or like says thanks Susan, and then like hangs up the phone, and then immediately tells Jake like where the meetup is at.
Okay.
And then he's like, "Wait, were you talking with my aunt?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's a different Susan.
I also like the idea too that he presses on you and he's like, "Where do you know Susan from?" And you're like, "Oh, we had like a college class together." Like you guys each tell him different lines, but he's so tired that he doesn't even put two and two together. Yeah, or that you like, or that he's like, "I thought you were at a church thing," and you were like, "Yeah, church thing."
Yeah, it was a theology class.
Like you can't even say it was a church thing because you're such a bad liar. Yeah. And it's so comical that she said church thing.
But anyway, so we're going to this construction site. I'm sure I'd let all of you know where it's going down.
Are you guys meeting there separately? Are you guys going together?
You guys
Have you reached out to Aurora? Like, what is the road leading up from like 9 o'clock until 11 or 11:30? Tell me how you guys are preparing for this meetup. Right, you're clearly not invited, but you're also not going to be like, "Get the fuck out of here! You have no business being here." So what is the? Are you making it known to Aurora that you're going to be there with friends? Because you guys did kind of make that deal or that arrangement at the casino.
Mm-hmm. I think I probably would let her know that I will be there. I don't necessarily know. I'd say I'd be there with friends, but I imagine just letting her know that I'm gonna, like, at least watch it from the shadows, kind of a thing.
Okay. Just kind of be there just in case, sort of thing. Okay. Right, so we got that kind of squared away. What is Oliver doing to get ready? Obviously putting on some equipment.
Yeah, I'm
protecting himself, yeah.
I've probably stepped up into a more heavier vest tonight. Something that's maybe a little less... Actually, no. I'm probably still just sticking with the stab vest.
Okay.
I don't want to ask
something not completely obvious, something you can wear under comfortable clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
And given I wear a suit coat most anywhere anyway, that extra bulk is easy to hide.
Yeah.
I've also written out a will real quick, leaving, in the event something goes south, leaving everything I have to Artemis.
Okay.
Just in case. I'm hoping that things will go peacefully, but in light of this week...
And from what little Calvin has said to you, it sounds like there's a pretty straightforward plan in place.
Well, and I know that there's potentially hunters crashing into, which is going to make things violent and dangerous, especially where these terrible people tend to specialize in killing people like us.
Killing supernatural meetups.
And,
exactly.
So apart from that, just making sure that everything is in order, that I'm ready for as worse of a possibility as I can going into this.
Sounds good.
Bought new cigarettes too. Probably going to need a couple packs tonight.
Sorry, 1 second. Perfect. And then Jake?
I'm not going to do much. Just mellow.
Yeah, you were just like
trying to
tired.
pick up all the mush, all the mush, all the mess.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what
giant
the hell
energy drink
is going to, because I really don't want to go to this either, but I did tell Vincent that I'd be there,
and he kind of paid you.
He did.
With no strings attached.
Yeah, of course.
But strings attached. Yeah, obviously.
So yeah, I'm just not looking forward to it. Just dreading it.
Deal. Okay.
Like everything that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So this construction site has like the roadside, and it has like kind of a ground that rolls down into a bigger area, and then there's like probably about 100 feet from the road. There's like this sectioned off zone where they're digging straight down for a solid foundation for a smaller skyscraper. A building going to be several stories high. And there's a lot of construction equipment around. I'm going to have each one of you kind of build an element for this kind of scene. So whoever wants to kind of go first and whip out something for this.
They're doing a lot of digging.
Okay.
It's been a wet week, so the ground is dry in some places, but where there's a lot of loose dirt, there is still mud pack.
Or puddles even.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it looks pretty sketchy. It's been raining off and on this week. Coming out of winter in New Salem, it is incredibly rainy. You guys have had a dry patches here and there, but you know that March is going to roll into April, and April's going to rain. Mm-hmm. So what's something else?
There's a lot of just like large machines, backhoes, cranes. I think they're probably building something like a skyscraper.
Yep. Construction
downtown
offices,
yeah.
stuff like that. Perfect. Okay. Nobody's working right now. That's clearly been arranged.
I can also imagine that this place is probably fenced off.
Okay.
And have only one entrance, one exit kind of thing.
Deal. Yeah.
Because it's, they want to make sure that no one steals the equipment and all that stuff.
Exactly. Perfect. All right. So as you guys kind of roll up, traveling separate, traveling together, I don't think that's a pertinent plot point at this point. So you guys all arrive and you kind of meet up, and we'll say that Aurora's hanging out, just linking up with you, checking in, making sure you and your friends don't get any ideas, stuff like that. So we'll just do that as a quick scene.
Okay.
Can I have one real quick with Jake? Since
Yeah,
this is my
of course.
first time
Yeah, you guys.
into
Yeah,
it.
you guys link up. We'll do this after the scene with Aurora. She's waiting there. Yeah.
Sure.
So, Calvin, hello.
Aurora, it's
Yes.
a pleasure to see you again.
Yes, I'm glad you could be here, but I must remind you that you are here merely as a spectator. I know our goals align, but this is a very delicate matter.
Of course.
We have managed to convince them, at least we suspect, to convince them to give up the vampire that killed the Alpha, and we will proceed with the exchange. We have 4 of theirs for 1 of theirs. While it was hard to get this exchange approved by Trent, as much as you don't like him, he is a man of reason for his pack. Thank you for being here, and more than anything, keep your eyes out for any trouble of the... Well, let's just state plainly, these fucking hunters better not fuck this deal up. Because that would be... They would prefer nothing more than this.
Are we here too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just introduce myself. Aurora, is it?
Yeah, Oliver.
I'm Oliver Silver.
Oliver.
Clairvoyant,
yes.
I see.
I've heard your colleagues might have mentioned you in the casino a couple days ago. I can't quite remember. Can't quite recall.
I'm very happy to hear that you're trying to make peace here. This, as you probably can guess, I am a vampire myself, and peace is all I want.
Yes, I believe Calvin might have mentioned that you were friends with Scarlet. I can assure you she's in good health, much to the wolves' dismay.
And I appreciate that it is probably thanks to your guidance that she is in such condition.
Is this your first time meeting her?
It is.
Yes. You want to... It's not really, I guess, put a face to a name anymore. No, I think we're good. I don't want to force moves because it doesn't feel
More
like
of
anything's
just like
happening.
a light figure her out.
Okay.
Just kind of size her up.
Did you want to do that, or just want to do that through role playing?
I think I'll just do that.
Okay.
Try to get a
Yeah.
gauge for this person.
Yeah.
Watch as my dice screw me again.
Yeah.
Why can I not?
No, just go ahead and
There
roll.
it is,
It's with
okay.
mind. Yep.
With mind. Is it with mind or their faction?
No.
Mind.
Figure someone out as a basic move.
I got a 11.
Okay. So on a hit, you hold 2, and you are not the same faction. So you can ask 2 questions from their, either to me as an MC, or in role playing that I have to answer truthfully.
Okay. I think I'll ask them to you as MC first, and
Okay.
then we can get there as role playing.
Absolutely. That's the base.
What's your character hoping to get from this encounter?
Yeah, so she is very much wanting this deal to go absolutely as straightforward as possible. The wolves are very anxious. They think that this is going to not only be a trap that blows up in their face, they are doing this to avoid bloodshed.
Okay.
And they think that the vampires are actually working with the hunters to screw over the wolves even more. The wolves were attacked at the start of this situation, and they think that they're still under attack.
Okay.
So she wants this to not go bad, at more than anything.
And you don't get one because I rolled above it.
Yes.
Okay.
I only get to ask a question
Right.
back if you hit a 7 or 9.
I guess my other question would be, how can I put your character in my debt?
By making sure this goes as smoothly as possible, without too many complications. She's aware that this could be flexible, but obviously this is a very delicate situation. So showing her that you're a person that can be trusted to do a very straightforward job.
Okay.
Alrighty. So I can assure you that Scarlet is in good health, and once this exchange is done, hopefully the werewolves and the vampires can go their separate ways.
I would really appreciate that too, and if there is anything that I can do to try and help, I'm primarily here as an observer. But if I can help, let me know.
As a vampire, I'm aware that you have senses that extend beyond that of wizards or your friend Jake here. Keep your senses heightened. We have it on good information that hunters will interfere. That is our primary concern. And if the vampires do pull anything, it would be in your best interest to let them suffer their own consequences. As long as you stay out of the fray, you will not be marked by these wolves. For all of you. But if you jump in on their side, we will not stop. You will be considered enemies of the pack.
I believe I understand, and I shall keep my eyes peeled, ears to the ground, and nose to the wind. And if I hear anything or sense anything, you'll be the first to know.
Very well. So she bids you adieu. She heads back down and meets up. You see that some pickup trucks have pulled up, and these guys have basically just cut some holes in the fences. There's only that one gateway that you guys came through. The wolves are making sure that they have access to their vehicles nearby. They're just kind of tearing this fence open, rolling it back a little bit, giving themselves their own door to come through. And so there's probably about 10 of them or so, and you can tell that there are no vampire prisoners with them. They're just kind of standing around the trucks, off the side of the site, not even heading towards the middle, and Aurora starts heading back towards them. It's still a little bit early, it's like 11:20 or so. There's still some time. No signs of the vampires yet.
So which faction would be in charge of this construction site, I guess?
Yeah, so the territory, this would definitely be a...
Hit the streets.
This sounds like a hit the streets. It needs to be a faction move, so it would probably be a hit.
Well, because I was planning on doing an investigative place of power.
Yeah.
But that one requires you to roll with the faction that owns it.
That is a good question. So let's say that...
Is this a power site? Is that why the wizards chose it to meet here?
Sure, yeah. Olivia set up this meet. Or no, Aurora set up this meet.
So it's a wizard's...
So we'll say that this is tentatively wizard territory. They don't lord over specific sites or anything. So yeah, let's do an investigate a place of power.
Okay. So I do get a hit.
Okay.
So I rolled a 6 plus 1.
Right, so you can go ahead and mark power if you don't have that marked. On a hit, you see below the surface or the reality underneath.
Yeah.
All
so
right. On a 10, did you get a 10 plus?
I did not. I only got a 7.
So on a hit, you can tell that this is a fairly straightforward construction site, but at the same time, you definitely get a magical sense about it. There are magical runes that are more powerful than your basic sense of magic. You sense magic in the air. But unless you started channeling magic, you really couldn't put a better idea of what that is.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're aware that there's more than meets the eye here, but nobody else is. All right, now you can talk to. Yeah, now.
Chat with Jake.
Yeah, you tell that Jake is very distracted.
Hey, Jake, are you doing all right?
As good as I can right now.
I've been pretty concerned about you. I've been trying to get in touch for a while.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. I've been busy.
Do you still have your cell phone?
I don't. I must have misplaced it or lost it. I don't.
I couldn't reach into my suit pocket and just pull out like a track phone. just hand it over.
Jeez, I'm getting gifts left and right.
I just had to be Jake Gordon.
It only has one contact program.
It's Robbie's.
Two. Robbie's in there too.
Again, it's like.
I just want to make sure that we can be in touch if we need to.
Well, thank you. I definitely need to get a phone. I have so much to do still.
What happened there, Jake?
I don't know, to be honest.
I was trying to, I guess, try and reach you. When you transformed before, it's never been like that.
Yes, this was something different. This was something that doesn't happen very often, but it does. And it's something that I must battle.
Four gorgeous four-door sedans drive past, take a bend around, and kind of they pull up nearby, park, and vampires start getting out of the vehicle.
Well, Jake, even though you might lose yourself to the darkness once in a while, trust me, I understand. Just remember that your humanity is what keeps you here.
I'm just gonna do this thing. Start, I guess, looking for the cars and paying attention to see what's going down.
Yeah. So as you're looking around, several vampires get out. Some of which you've seen a couple times before, specifically as part of the Redmore clan. You definitely recognize Leold, but not many others. No elders are here. You can tell they sent a lot of lieutenants and stuff like that, and a lot of ground soldiers. Right. But nobody in charge, as far as you know.
Are they, we'll say, coming for business?
Yeah. Well, they look armed to the teeth.
Okay.
They look prepared for the worst. You could definitely figure them out if you wanted to use that as a group. To kind of get a sense.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? Let's see
so
how
go ahead and roll with mind.
I have an 8.
Okay. Right. So as they're kind of walking up, they spot all three of you. You'll get 3 questions, 2 because you hit, and 1 because it's the same faction. But they'll get 1 hit on you as well. Right. So let's go ahead and knock out those questions real quick.
What's your character hoping to get from the meet?
Okay, so you immediately get the sense that they just want their vampires back. They're really tense. You almost get the sense that they haven't even made up their mind whether or not they're giving up the vampire who did this. You can tell that there's schemes going on. They're looking anxious, and not the anxious for a trade kind of anxious. You definitely get that there's something going on more than meets the eye.
Okay. I guess I'll do another one then. What's your character's, or what's the group's or the faction's beef with the werewolves? Why did they start this?
Yeah, so one ambitious vampire recently initiated into the Redmore clan saw it as an opportunity to make a position of power play to basically expand territory, put themselves...
So he was trying to make a name for himself.
Exactly, in a big way.
Okay, you want to ask one?
Yeah, so I'll say that how could I get your character to be our ally in this situation?
If the vampires act honorably,
okay,
and do what they've promised to do, per like our laws and our own code of ethics, then I would have no reason not to stand with them.
Even if a fight broke out?
Even if a fight broke out.
Okay.
If it wasn't something they instigated.
Okay, and your last question.
Who's pulling the Redmore clan's strings?
There is no leadership here.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems incredibly suspicious. Not so much so because there's a chance this could break out as a fight, but the more and more you look at this, the more and more you get the sense that they're not here to trade. The more and more you get the sense that they're here waiting for something bad to happen in a good way. Junior is just not even happening right now. She's not even having this. All right. So as the vampires walk up, there's probably like a dozen of them. Okay. They dressed in black. They have visible body armor. Each one of them has, either a shotgun in hand, guns on their sides. They look like they're ready for war, and they're all wearing sunglasses. They're all looking really slick, like kind of like a hit squad. Okay. You don't see any single one of them that looks like they're about to get swapped to the werewolves.
Right.
As they're walking up, Leold approaches you and he goes, "Oliver, good to see you here."
Leold, how have you been?
Quite busy preparing for this meetup. So a lot of delicate things to prepare for, as you can imagine. I know when we last left, we didn't leave on the best of terms. I'm still glad to see that you're invested in the vampire's success here tonight.
For better or worse, I'm a member of this community. And if a war is to break out, I will be affected by it too.
I'm sure there's no war that will break out tonight. Everything seems to be very straightforward. Me and mine have been working very closely with their wizard, getting things lined up.
And that's all I want, Leold. I want a sense of peace, of safety. I've had some interesting run-ins this week, and the fewer of those I can have, the better.
Yes, well, perhaps you'd like to come and sort of mediate with the wizard. Join us down in the pits.
I will be present, but unfortunately, part of my, we'll say, concession to allow me here is that I do not get involved.
Oh, certainly being closer, listening to how things are done, that's not interfering. That's not...
Right. I would...
Because the understanding right now is that you guys wait, like, several dozen feet away, if not 100 feet away. He's inviting you guys to come closer. He's almost insinuating that you guys should come over and hang out, like, near them. But he isn't. He is kind of pressing you to get you guys to come down into the site.
Calvin,
What is it?
Do you think it would be an issue with these negotiations for us to be present? I don't really have a lot of experience with this particular wizard.
I mean, I would like to hear what is being said. I need to report back to the New Salem Restoration Group on the happenings of tonight, probably.
The vampires kind of chuckle at the mention of the New Salem Restoration Group. Some of them kind of mumble under their words. Bunch of blood bags, kind of just nasty.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as close as we can get would probably be the best. But we need to remember we're independent mediators.
Now,
Right.
also, heading down in to be closer would also put you at a terrible sightlines.
Yep.
So, okay. Just making sure you guys understand the setting, right? I'm not foreshadowing anything.
If anything were to break out, it would be in a bad spot if we go down there.
Yeah.
I don't think we should go there.
Listen, debate amongst yourselves. We really don't care on either way. It was merely a formal invitation, with you being down there showing strength with your kind. Perhaps others would see that fortunately, kind of pressing on your... Yeah, and then
I truly appreciate the offer, Leold, and I will let you know.
Okay, they turn the corner and head in.
I don't think we should go there. We should stay at distance.
I don't think this is going to go as smoothly as we're hoping. I've got a real bad feeling about this.
We don't.
I mean, when we're dealing with things that go bump in the night, does anything ever really go smoothly?
Never.
So I'm actually going to have... I don't know if I want all of you to keep your cool, because like this shit's getting intense real quick. Right, so I'm going to need at least one person. I like the idea of all three of you
trying to as well.
Keeping
just
your
to
cool.
see how we feel.
Just to see if like you're keeping your collections about them. The problem is if you all miss, then I have a lot of moves to make. But I like the idea that all of you guys are reacting to this pressure in different ways. So I'm going to have all of you keep your cool.
Do I need a setback?
No, you're good. You're good. You are tired, but mechanically I'm not going to punish you. As long as you guys keep role-playing how...
Oh, thank God for vampire talents.
Alright, so what'd you guys get for your rolls?
I got an 8.
After modifiers, I had a 7.
Okay, so you guys all got 7 through 9 on your keep your cool. Now we're just going to read through it. We haven't done too many keep your cools yet, so when things get real and you keep your cool, tell the MC what situation you would like to avoid and roll a spirit. So I didn't have you guys tell me what situation you want to avoid. It's all kind of apparent.
Is that
this
sufficient?
is the situation you want to avoid. So let's take a look here real quick. It says, note that the trigger only moves when the pressure is on, so you won't have to roll this unless something in the scene has already brought some pressure to bear on your character. When you do the trigger, keep your cool. You set the stakes by declaring what situation you're trying to avoid. So it's clear that the situation we're trying to avoid is these two fighting and a war breaking out. That's the big picture, but I also like the idea that there are specific goals that each one of you wants to do to keep your cool, right?
For me, transforming.
For you, you don't want to transform.
Don't want to lose my cool yet.
So, if you do, if situations bring you to the point where you transform, you're going to lose a big part of yourself, almost, if not exactly the way you did Monday night. What situation is Oliver trying to avoid?
Oliver really doesn't want to upset the negotiations by disrupting the balance. So I feel like if I'm down there, we'll say like they bring in 6 from each faction for the negotiation and suddenly there's an extra vamp hanging out, that might make things uncomfortable.
Okay. So is the situation you're trying to avoid, are you trying not to lose face with the vampire clan?
I think
What's Oliver's most important... Obviously, he doesn't want things to go bad.
Right.
But what would you hope to get out of this? You talked previously, like, what would I do to get in your debt, or to get you in my debt with Aurora?
I primarily want to make sure my friends are safe and that things go smooth.
Okay.
Like, I would like to put Aurora in my debt.
Would you, I guess for me, would you rather come out ahead with Aurora or the vampire clan?
I think Aurora. Okay.
All right. So, for you to keep your cool, I think we're gonna have you. You're worried that if you head down there, you're gonna infuriate Aurora, right? So that's what it's gonna cost you to keep your cool, is staying up here. Okay, coming back to you. What does Calvin hope to get out of this hot mess?
So Calvin really just wants to keep the peace. Like, he does not want this to explode any further than it already has.
Right, that's already the overarching thing. We understand.
Right.
What is the one thing that Calvin hopes? Say this thing goes perfectly. What does Calvin hope to get on top of that?
That's a good question. Because like right now I'm just thinking like he gets a little bit of control of his own life and people stop leaving him alone, but that realistically that doesn't make sense. I did a job well and 14 nights.
If you do a job well, people give you more jobs to do well.
Yeah.
So do you want to impress Aurora with your assistance here, or because you know that Aurora's in cahoots with Vincennes, so does that worry you?
It does worry me, especially now that I know there's like some crazy magical runes that I don't understand kind of the meaning of.
Okay, how about this? For you to keep your cool, you're going to have to not investigate the magical powers at bay. Because the second you start to investigate them, you're going to lose your shit.
Oh, I've been like wanting to let it out ever since so I can investigate it.
Okay, that's I'm telling you what it's going to cost, right? Because right now you're like, okay, there's magic. It's probably nothing. It's definitely something. Fuck, right? That's Calvin right now. Yep. So we all understand what's at stake. Not only is war between the vampires and werewolves and hunters and all this other hot mess that we've been building up to, there's a lot of other stuff going on that we don't even have to go over. Okay, they're down there, right? The wolves are starting to head over. The vampires are hanging out. They're all kind of keeping their distance. Aurora kind of leaves the wolves. She kind of walks over to the middle, and you see Leold and you see Trent start heading towards the middle. I'm gonna have. Sorry, is there a? There's no like perception, is there?
Not really.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm. Right. So, if you guys want to hear what's going on, you're gonna have to get closer.
Put a face to name.
Can I let it out to extend my supernatural senses even further?
100% you can. Yeah. Because this is extending your senses. Yeah.
Like we already have established vampires have enhanced senses to begin with. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead and roll it. You're rolling with spirit.
Spirit. That's a 5.
Okay, so you
I just-
absolutely cannot hear anything that's going on.
Okay.
Do you guys stay there?
So I am going to go down there, but I want to be invisible when I do. So I'm
Okay.
going to channel some magic and
Okay.
use a spell.
Deal.
So channeling, that's a 6, 7, 8. So I get 4, but I have to take corruption, suffer 1 harm, or take -1 ongoing until I rest. That one's really
expensive.
rough. I'll take a harm.
Okay.
Ow.
Ouch.
I got a headache.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
that
you're
was-
already stressed out, and now you're just compounding that stress. So you start getting a very nasty migraine while you're
Maybe
channeling.
that was the runes too.
Yeah.
Trying to conjure magic.
All right.
inside
And what
the
spell
protective
are you
fields.
using?
And so I am going to use Veil.
Okay.
It spend 1 hold to make yourself invisible from sight for a few moments. So I
A
don't
few
know
moments. Is,
how long. That is not defined by the book on what a few moments
okay.
is.
I would say that even thematically, walking down to the area would cost you a few moments. So that's
Maybe
like
that's-
hiding from people running by.
Then maybe I can teleport to like an area like above,
Oh, like on top
Like,
of
so I
train
can
or something.
Yeah, just
Okay.
kind of like within a close shot, but kind of like still hidden. So maybe we'll
Deal.
use teleportation
All right.
instead.
So tell us about teleportation.
So it's just kind of like a quick blink. He like lifts his hand up, does like a couple like symbols and like a quick like shimmer.
If we learn anything from Doctor Strange, you have to do circles.
have to do
right? You have to do
circles.
circles, and you're pointing at. I like the idea that there's like this crane, and for some reason there's already a beam being suspended by the crane. They're not even
It's
ready
a
for this.
construction site.
Yeah,
For
it's a
whatever
construction
reason,
site.
they just have
So you just
huge
teleport to the top of this beam. It's like 40 to 50 feet above ground. There's floodlights in the area, but a lot of the ambient light doesn't reach up there. So you're within sight, but only if someone is like specifically looking for you or at you.
Am I within like earshot though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the big
I just
thing
turned
want.
around because, like, I imagine I was surveying and just looked for a cow.
Yeah. So you just see him, and then just puff of like particles, and you're just like,
Where did Calvin go?
yeah. And then eventually, within maybe like 30 seconds of searching, you find him. So you guys are keeping your senses heightened, watching the streets.
Watching
Every car that
the
drives
time.
by gives you anxiety, right?
Yeah, big time.
Every truck that
Big
drives
time.
by gives you even more anxiety.
I've kind of taken my pistols and advanced shells in and turned my safeties off.
Yep.
And
What kind of weapon does Jake have?
I have
And-
a 9mm Beretta.
Is it locked and loaded, ready to
No,
go?
it's not. It's,
No?
it's
You're not
it's
even
there.
trusting yourself with your weapon in
it's
hand.
there,
Okay.
but I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
trying not to.
Okay. All right.
Stay away from it.
So Calvin, you teleport up, and you hear them bickering about terms still. About, they're just going back and forth, and it's just kind of a long circle jerk of
Political
negotiation.
foreplay.
Aurora is trying to keep nerves calm. She says, "I thought we already had the details agreed upon," and the vampires are demanding to see the vampires first, and the werewolves are demanding, where's your vampire that you're going to give up? And it's just a huge stalemate for a good little while. While you're up here, this is an optional roll, okay?
Okay.
But you have a incredibly strong sense of overpowering magic nearby.
I think Calvin is gonna investigate what this magic is.
So I'm gonna need you to let it out to extend your senses.
And I know that means I'm losing my cool, but that's a 9, 10, 11.
Okay. On a 10 plus, ignore the corruption from let it out, or choose another from the list. So you get to pick 2 and take corruption, or pick 1 and ignore corruption. Obviously, we're lending towards extending your supernatural senses, right? So would you like to pick another and take corruption?
No, I think I'm just gonna take the 1 and not have corruption.
All right. There is a rift, sort of a portal, being held open, but also being held invisible. You have a sense that there is a gateway, an invisible gateway, from somewhere else to here, being hidden in plain sight nearby.
Okay.
All right. So they kind of bicker. Notice they kind of bicker back and forth. Then Aurora kind of does her. She conjures her magic and basically summons one of the vampires, and she says, I think it's fair to assume that at least this one is safe and stable, and the other ones share the same fate. It is not Scarlet. And she says the others will be exchanged as soon as we get proof that you guys are willing to hand over the vampire that's responsible for the Pax Alpha being murdered. And the vampires kind of go back, and Leold walks back and kind of circles up with his vampires, and then a portal sort of opens up, and this is not the sense that you're getting. This is a different thing. Something opens and a vampire steps forward.
So the portal that Aurora brought the vampire through is also a
These are much smaller.
Okay.
They're much smaller. So basically a vampire comes out, and you see him, and you're looking at him, and he looks kind of familiar, but you're not entirely sure how. So you would have to put a face to a name.
Sure.
Can I try and let it out again? So that I could see if I recognize this vampire or...
Yeah, so this is incredibly far away.
Yeah.
You already failed once because you are distracted. I would say for you to even attempt this, you would take corruption.
That's okay.
Okay? And if you hit to the point where you would have to take corruption, then you have to take that second corruption, or whatever that is. So there's a chance that you take 2 corruption.
Sorry.
Okay.
And I'm
Because
putting a
Some
face
things
to a
are
name
important.
Yeah, you're putting a face to a name.
with Knight.
If you want to figure out who this is.
I would like to. Nope.
Oh, is that Snake Eyes?
Snake Eyes, and I have a -2, so I got a 0.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So you. That's weird that on a miss you don't even like take corruption, but only on a hit you do. So you go to reach out, but this magic is
He's the one
overwhelming you.
reaching out.
On the miss.
I was putting a face
Oh,
to
you're
a
putting a
name.
face to a name.
Yeah, so he doesn't
on
know
a miss,
them,
you
he
don't know
owns
them, or you owe them. So you don't know them,
Okay.
but they look super familiar. What'd you get?
6.
Okay.
Double corruption.
Right. So at
No,
this,
I just single because I didn't hit.
so you do suffer the 1 corruption, but you also missed. So this vampire steps forward. He doesn't have any weapons to him. He still looks proud as all get out. He holds himself with an air of supremacy, like he's earned something. And as soon as he starts stepping forward, the wolves just start working themselves up. They start howling, and you catch a glimpse of a name. You hear the name Samuel.
Okay.
So you hear something about Samuel. The wolves are just working themselves into a frenzy.
Jake, get ready.
No.
Yeah, you start hearing these wolves howl. You guys are getting really anxious, and At this point, the vampires demand to see the other vampires. So Aurora, sticking up to her end of the deal, summons the other 3 vampires. So there's 4 total. One of them is Scarlet. She's a little worse for wear. You really can't see her. All you see is the striking physique of her kind of frame very far away. You can imagine that this is Scarlet from just the stories that Oliver... Yeah. So as they summon and everybody's there, they're demanding back and forth. Send the werewolves, send the vampires over. No, you send your vampire over. Things are building with tension, and it's not going well. And you can tell that this portal that's being held open nearby is actually crackling with energy now. That whoever is on the other side is preparing to cross over within minutes, within moments.
Oh gosh.
What do you do?
I'm not keeping my cool now.
What do you do?
I think I'm going to teleport pretty much down into the midst
Down
of
into
things.
the middle of things,
and
okay.
just say, like, can we get this over with? Something is going wrong.
Okay.
Something is coming.
So you teleport down. You
Can we get this?
You startle half the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get this done now. Something is coming. Something big.
And as you kind of say that, you see this kind of... if you're looking right at it, it almost looks like a giant glass ball. How it sort of twists light around it. Kind of building with energy. And then it explodes with this yellow field, and then people just start pouring out.
Jake!
Yeah, and this is like off to the side, definitely behind the werewolves, cutting them off from their trucks. The werewolves start freaking out. They look like hunters. That's what you see. You guys, they're too far away. They could be more vampires. Yeah. Okay, so these guys start pouring out, crossbows firing, guns spraying. The werewolves immediately turn, right? They kind of split. Some of them are heading towards the vampires. Others are heading towards the people ambushing from behind. Now that you're up front, you get, as you look to Aurora, and she looks frantic. The vampires, however, are immediately drawing weapons and shooting at the werewolves. They don't seem one bit concerned with what's going on behind the werewolves.
So we have vampires, werewolves, what appear to be hunters spilling out of a portal.
Yeah. And you're in the middle of the shit sandwich. Alright, you guys immediately draw weapons, start running down, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be a long while before you get down. Not a long while as in real time, a long while as in like, fuck. Yeah.
Shit's going
what do you do?
south.
Shit's getting crazy. Ship went to hell, right? Aurora's in danger. There's shots being fired. In fact, she immediately starts channeling magic.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right. What's your... So werewolves just blast right past you, slam into the vampires, right? You hear the others just mowing down some of these werewolves already. This thing could be over in a matter of minutes in a massacre.
Because, like, I'm in an interesting situation. Because Aurora is a somewhat friend, and I know that if I help the wolves, she owes me a debt. But then at the same time, like, trying to keep the peace, and this definitely isn't. She told me to kind of stay out of things if anything happens, but I think that meant, like, more don't help the vampires.
I think that's absolutely what it meant.
So I guess I'm going to start... Oh, I don't want to attack hunters, though, too, because that's, like, they're human.
Sounds like Calvin is in the middle of a shit sandwich. Sounds like he's the key ingredient.
Yep. So I am going to go ahead and I'll throw a shield on all of the werewolves.
Can you do all of them?
I can spend 2 channels to spend 1 hold to provide +1 armor to yourself or someone nearby, or spend 2 hold to provide armor +1 to everyone in a small area, possibly including yourself.
Okay, so you have 2 choices, okay? You can protect yourself, Aurora, and like 3 of the wolves that are going towards the vampires, because they're kind of meeting in the middle, or you can shield the ones being murdered by the hunters.
I think I would shield the ones being attacked by the hunters.
Okay, so you kind of look around. Aurora looks like she's dealing with the werewolves and vampires. You see these other werewolves trying to buffer or just frantically react. You immediately turn and provide them with shielding, and this kind of looks like just like yellow runes or red runes just circling around them.
Yeah, just kind of like red runes that...
Okay. Just kind of orbit them, several of them.
Almost like invisibly until something hits it that it needs to like bounce off of.
Deal. So, just about, probably about, like, almost a dozen people come out, just guns blazing, right? One of them throws a grenade. It's frantic. You guys are running down.
We're probably taking pot shots.
At what?
The people coming out of the portal.
Okay.
Because they are fucking up what was going down, and this is bad, and...
Yep.
Getting some flashbacks.
I have just gun in hand. I'm just kind of running with it, just doing motions.
Like not even shooting.
Not shooting. I'm
Just not even really.
I'm running and I'm just moving. You know.
Yeah. So you're running. You kind of almost run limping.
Yeah.
You just.
I'm just.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So these werewolves and vampires, right? You see Leold like draw a sword, and he just starts cutting into one of the vampires or one of the werewolves. And he's immediately tackled by what you make out to be what Trent was before he changed. And now you see Trent as the werewolf. You know, he's very much a big one. He still has that 3 scratch, that scar of the 3 claws across his face. And you see him and Leold kind of going at it. This other vampire who didn't have any weapons, he reaches down from a dead vampire, picks up his weapon, and he immediately starts shooting at Trent.
Just that,
and it's wildly spraying. Yeah, it's wildly spraying. He doesn't really seem to not avoid you or Aurora in his spread.
Okay.
Okay. What do you do? They're still running down, taking pot shots. But they're not going to make much of a difference that far out. This is all Calvin right now in the spotlight.
Well, I don't have any more channel left, so I need to channel again.
Okay. And remember, we talked about, obviously there's no mechanical thing for this, but every single time you channel, you get a little bit weaker, you get a little bit more exhausted. And maybe eventually I might make you take corruption to channel. Yeah.
So that's an 8, 9, 10. So that one's good. I get 4 channels with no side effects.
Okay. Like we said before, Calvin's good at one thing. Casting magic, and that's about it. That's about it.
He's good at channeling the magic. He can't even shoot spells very accurately.
So what do? You start cackling energy around you. You feel refreshed, but you feel exhausted. Each time you summon magic, it takes a little bit more from you. The werewolf's spell is holding, but fading fast. You hear this kind of magical crackle with every single, bolt or bullet.
What is Aurora doing right now?
She's trying to keep the several vampires from murdering the 3 wolves that came over to fight the vampires.
So she is doing more protective.
She's more protective, but she's also very much using gusts of wind to knock them over when they're scrambling back up. She's trying not to kill vampires,
right?
But she's trying to keep the vampires from killing the wolves.
I think I will. This one vampire that's kind of Samuel. Okay. I think that's kind of what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack him and shoot a kind of like a rock thing, just kind of lift up and toss him, sort of a thing.
Okay.
So I guess that's an unleashing attack, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What corruption did I take? I didn't mark it. Oh crap. Which one did I take? Was it the?
I thought it was the Pale Horse one.
That's what I think it was too.
Where you knew their name.
Ooh, so let's actually go ahead and do that one.
Okay.
I mark corruption and speak the true name of an NPC in the scene to inflict 3 harm on them.
All right.
Who are you gonna fuck up?
This Samuel guy.
Okay, this is just the tiniest bit spoilery, but would you please tell me your family's last name since before you turned?
Clark.
His name is Samuel Clark.
Okay. I say that then.
Okay. And sorry, what happens afterwards?
He takes 3 damage.
Okay.
3 harm AP, whatever that means.
Armor piercing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his armor, which he's not wearing much of, he is wearing some 3 harm.
Fuck off.
All right.
It's not just me. Yeah.
So he just lifts up. Right. You just use magic. You pick him up, slam him into the ground. Right. You almost hear like bones cracking. And it feels pretty good. Right. So he both the guns leave his hands. He's like coughing for air. You guys run up. These werewolves are not doing so hot. They've caught up to the hunters. The portal has closed, as far as you can tell. But what do you do?
Fuck. So we are effectively in the fray, right?
You're like shooting distance. You can kind of aim. They're in the maelstrom together. If you start firing wildly, you will hit werewolves as much as hunters.
Is Pablo here?
Possibly.
I want to scan the crowd for Pablo.
It's too frantic for.
It's too frantic.
Yeah. Right. These are people. These are werewolves fighting hunters. Hunters like stabbing them. There's just craziness going on right now.
I guess
no time
arriving
to-
on the scene
Yep.
with a what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
Who are you saying that to?
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing. Nobody listens. In fact, you waste a couple good moments.
I'm looking for Calvin to see.
So you're looking
Okay.
and you see like Calvin like put out his hands and kind of pick this vampire up and just like slam him into the ground.
Yep. You also see out of your sightlines Leold battling it out with a very powerful looking werewolf. And thinking if you don't help that skirmish, then Leold might be lost, as would an ally in Leold. Scarlet and the other 3 vampires are still bound and helpless, but they're more trying to be not a target. Like they're just kind of being very like calm, like struggling out of their binds, trying to get free.
Well, I want to try and push Trent off.
Okay.
Like just full ram,
Yeah.
holster my pistols, and
All right. To get a beta werewolf off of your friend, I'm gonna have you let it out.
okay, well, maybe. Oh my fucking god. I got a 7.
Okay. That's a hit.
Yay!
All right. On a hit, choose one and mark corruption. So you are basically heightening your vampire abilities
Powers.
to just slam into a werewolf with such force that you're knocking him off of another vampire. So I'm going to say that would be extending your senses, your supernatural senses. Or you could take definite hold from something, which would be taking him off of Leold, right? Narrative, they both make the same sense.
Right.
Yeah. You push yourself
So
past...
I can see myself more as coming up from behind, because in my eye we have kind of Aurora in the middle, the wolves, the vampires, the way up, and then where the hunters are coming from.
Okay.
So coming in like this, I just see myself running right in and just kind of like check pushing and trying to
Dateline
flip him
hidden,
back
yeah.
into the rest of the wolves.
Yeah, perfect. You guys probably split up,
Yeah, we
and he
split.
says like, Jake, take care of that. I'm gonna take care of this. You run over and you just like Superman slam into this werewolf. You knock him over. You tumble, and he starts frantically scrambling up, thinking that you're his new target now instead. Leold starts scrambling up. You see him fly with supernatural speed, hit Trent right in the side.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend is in danger now too, right?
While I do that, I'm just like, everybody stop!
Which sounds like
Yeah.
yeah. All right, you get to the other group. What do you do?
So I'm holstering my weapon.
Holstering?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not, or putting it in my back or whatever, and I'm gonna try to. How close am I to Calvin?
You're kind of running over. You see Calvin. You can definitely run up to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to Calvin. And,
All right, you run up. Calvin's definitely he's casting magic like a
We
crazy
need to
person.
get the hell out of here. What's going on? I thought this was just an exchange.
Look around, mate.
Yeah, it was supposed to be, but you knew that wasn't gonna happen.
I can't, Calvin. I can't fight. I can't do this right now.
Then get out of here. If you're not gonna help, then go.
Okay, I'm leaving then.
Fuck you, Jake.
Fuck this. I can't lose any more humanity.
Okay. Not to talk you out of this, because this is a character move, right?
Yep.
This would be your decision.
Someone.
Remembering your motivation coming in here,
I guess
right?
I probably do need to keep my cool as well. Definitely, right?
Because you knew that Aurora was working with Vincent. Do you leave?
Because Vincent.
Because this is stuff that you're thinking about before the thing. I'm not saying like this is a thought right now. I just want to remind you how you got to this point.
You're
in the
right,
first
because
place.
Vincent's was.
And if you leave now, you're leaving Calvin, Aurora, and Oliver over the risk of your humanity. What's more important to Jake?
Damn it.
You are a powerful weapon, but is terribly dangerous. Is the weapon to save your friends, or is the danger too much?
Well, first
You see a werewolf getting up, almost attacking Oliver. You still gonna leave?
No, I can't now.
What do you do?
Oliver is friend.
I know, Oliver is friend. He even tried to help me come out of the darkness.
What do you do?
I'm just gonna yell out and transform, yo. Damn it.
He's so sad to become his demonic wrecking ball.
This is what he does. And he's just like, no.
This is what I do. I make it impossible to make good choices. Okay,
Yep, so-
so the devil inside is what you're doing, right? When you assume your demon form, roll with blood. Roll it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm totally lost now. Alright, so on one miss, choose one.
Flame on.
You owe your patron a debt.
Okay, so you choose one. So you still transform. You owe your patron another debt. You poor guy. You just cleared one.
4 debts, I think.
No, it's three.
Because he just went on a rampage.
Because you went on a rampage
a
for
murder
him.
fest for
Yeah,
him.
I did. I don't remember.
Okay, yeah. So you only own 3.
So I'm gonna go ahead and bust out with my weapon, my demonic sword. It comes right out of. Yep.
Right, fiery
Fiery
sword
sword.
blazes from your chest.
Yep.
Which group are you turning towards?
Neither of us really like fire.
Instinctively, I just go help Oliver, so I'm attacking that wolf.
Oh, Jesus.
Lay
Okay.
it into trend.
All right. Right, so Oliver, you slam into this werewolf, you start struggling up. He immediately, quicker reflexes than you, immediately gets over you, smashes you into the ground real quick. You struggle to get up, you struggle to reach for weapons. He's just smashing you. He's not biting you, but he's just like fairly smashing you to the ground. And then this fiery sword swings down at Trent. Roll the unleash attack.
Damn it!
Now, Calvin.
Oh my god!
Okay. I was like, Calvin, you can lend a hand or
You
get out of the
dice.
way. Yeah.
2 dice.
I hope you didn't have water.
That's funny. So you did miss, I'm assuming, right? Okay. Right. So nothing happens, just bad stuff happens, right? So as you swing down at this werewolf, one of the other ones hits you and knocks you over. He just kind of shoulder checks you, knocks you. You kind of stumble over, but you're kind of dazed and confused. Calvin, what's going on?
Yeah, what is going on, Martin?
A shit sandwich.
Hell!
Damn it!
We're supposed to be, or I'm supposed to help the werewolves,
This was
but 2 of my
peace.
friends just attacked a werewolf.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I was gonna say you can get in the way of his attack, but you didn't need to.
I didn't need
Yeah.
to. Jeez, man. I think I'm going to go over to Trent and try and talk him down. I want to
Trent, it's okay.
Trent, these aren't your enemies.
And I'm gonna need a little bit more for this,
Yeah.
for this role. Yeah.
These aren't your enemies. They're just saving their own friends. Over there, the hunters. They're the ones who made this a mess.
All right, now roll it. You are
Persuasion.
Persuade an NPC.
persuading an NPC for sure. Now, you don't have any debts with him, right?
No, I do not.
Okay.
On a hit, they do what you ask. Rolling +0. I got a 7.
Hey, perfect. All right, so persuading an NPC, you rolled with heart. On a hit, they do what you ask. On a 7 through 9, they modify the terms. Well, he's a werewolf right now, and he's not like really negotiating. So he rises up, looks over, sees the hunters just going to work. He sees like 3 downed dead werewolves. He howls, he just kind of yips to the other 2 that are fighting the vampires. Those 3 turn and just start racing towards the hunters, okay? Mm-hmm. He looks at you and he gives you a look that basically says, kill the hunters with us or don't even bother with us.
Mm-hmm. So is he just carrying me with him? Or?
No, he just kind of buries you. Like, the shot of it is just he gets up and walks away and you lean out of the divot in the ground. Yeah. So he gives you a look like, help us or leave us to our fate and live with that on your conscience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Someone else.
So he gets up. Offering somebody else. All right, Oliver, this werewolf. You look up. You see Calvin. You're not entirely sure what happened. You just were bashed by one of the werewolves. You recover yourself quickly. The 2 of you turn. The vampires are shooting the werewolves in the back. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna try and persuade the vampires to not be doing that.
Okay, this is going to be
because I want them
harder. So you're persuading an NPC. So
essentially, I'm like, as I stand up out of the ground and help Leold up.
Well, Leold's already gotten up.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay,
I say Calvin probably helps you out. You turn and
Yeah.
you find Leold. You see him. He pulls a gun and he just starts shooting at Trent in the back.
Leold, we need to kill the hunters. That's the problem here.
At this
It
point
was
in time,
going so well.
you're saying this to him, and you see another vampire step up, the Samuel vampire. It's your brother. A brother that was lost in the war. A brother that should not be dead. He is older than you.
Like, he just comes forward?
He just kind of recovers, he kind of steps up, draws a gun, and then he stops when he looks at you, and you guys both just meet each other's eyes. Jordan?
Samuel?
And that is going to be the end of our episode.
Oh gosh.
We will be back with more Urban Shadows, friends like these next week. See you then.
I'm gonna flip it.
Oh! How do you not leave a... Oh my god.
I gotta pee.
Yeah.
Good, it wasn't just me.
Oh, it's so good.